شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين طه ياسين سيدنا ومولانا حبيبنا وطبيب نفوسنا على النبي الأمي الفرد الجليل الكوكب الدري البشير والنذير الرسول المسدد العشير الممجد المصطفى الأمجد حبيب إله العالمين أبو القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين يوم القيامة. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون صدق
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Dear brothers and sisters, our discussion during these nights had reached the stage where we were talking about the characteristics of a Shia of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. The narration that was relayed to us by Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, to whom Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam adds, O Jabir, it's not sufficient for her followers to say that we love you. Our followers are identified by certain characteristics. One of them being trustworthiness. Yesterday we touched upon this topic and we mentioned that keeping secret is one way of being a trustworthy person. Today, what I want to mention is to expand it a little bit and tell you that the month of Ramadan is the time where we inculcate the characteristics, we instill the good virtues in ourselves. It is the month of self-reflection. It is a month of development and perfection. So with that, what we need to see is how trustworthy we are with regards to our prayers in this month, because trustworthiness doesn't just mean keeping someone's secret. It has a larger scope. Are we trustworthy of keeping our duties the way Ramadan expects us to do? And Quran also mentions the truthfulness. Trustworthiness also means being truthful, that we speak the truth. And Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. O believers, fear Allah and be with those who are truthful. That means being trustworthy isn't just a virtue. It is a religious obligation. It's a religious obligation to be with the truthful. Being trustworthy means to be truthful. Being trustworthy means reliable. How can you be reliable? Reliability is when you act and you speak. Your actions and your word are in sync. That is reliability. If you promised someone to help, you keep your promise. When you intended to do something and you made a claim to do it, you complete that task. When you took an oath, you keep that oath. That's reliability. Now, I want to ask you all a question. Being trustworthy means being truthful. And Islam was founded on trustworthiness. How? When the message of Islam was conveyed to the non-believers of Mecca, who conveyed it? Who conveyed the message of Islam to the non-believers? Yes. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And how did he convey the message? Did he pick the day and said, this day is where I'm going to convey the message of Islam? But before that, let me ask you, did people of Mecca knew who he was? They knew him who he was. What role was he playing in Mecca before the message of Islam? An honest person. What more? Yes, trustworthy. And what was he called? Yes. What was he called? Yes, he was called Sadiq and Amin. He was called the truthful. He was called the trustworthy. The pagans of Makkah would bring their things as amana and keep it with them. When they would come for Hajj, they bring their money or whatever their belongings were, the precious things. They would bring it and give it to him, say, can you keep it safe? Or if they were on a business trip, they would bring it and say, can you keep it safe? We will take it on our way back. And they would take it back. He was called Amin, the trustworthy. He was called Sadiq, the truthful. So for 40 years in Mecca, Rasulullah worked on Meccans to tell them that he is the trustworthy, the truthful. This is what was needed before he would actually go out to convey the message of monotheism. Why? Because unless the people trust him, that for he who he is, unless they trust him, how are they going to trust the message that he was about to bring at the age of 40? So for 40 years, they knew him as trustworthy. Now, one day, when he was about to convey the message, so that means he didn't just go out one fine day and declare his prophethood. For 40 years, he made sure that they knew him as Amin. And when he knew this is the time and God declared, okay, this is where you have to go and declare your prophethood, he goes to the hill and he gathers everyone and he asks them a question. And that question, does anybody know what question he asked them? Let me tell you. He said, if I tell you that there is an army marching behind this hill, will you accept it? Will you believe me? What do you think the people did? What was their response? It was affirmative. They said, yes, we believe that if you say so, then there is an army marching behind the hill. And then he said, now I have brought you the message. Qulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu. Say la ilaha illallah and be successful. Of course, it wasn't easy for them to accept. They were shocked. They thought, yes, he is Sadiq and Amin, but he's asking us to go away from the idol worship. But what we have seen is that Islam declared the prophethood, or prophet declared his prophethood after ensuring that he was known as Amin, the trustworthy. So that's why we say it's not just a virtue, but it's an Islamic obligation. Something that we all need to learn is to ensure that whose followers we are, we build and inculcate that attribute in ourselves. We should be the trustworthy. We should be the truthful. And nobody deserves to be more trustworthy and more truthful than the followers of Ahlul Bayt. Because the Ahlul Bayt that we follow and in whom we believe, because they taught us monotheism, because of them, we know that Allah is one. Those were sacred souls. They were all truthful. They were all trustworthy. So Ramadan is that month that we need to work on ourselves. We need to build that characteristic of trustworthiness and ensuring that nobody gets harmed or no harm comes out of us. We respect our elders. Inshallah, tomorrow we are going to enter the second or the next attribute that Imam describes. And we'll see the weight that we carry as the lovers of Ahlul Bayt. The responsibility that we carry being a Shia is not something to be taken very lightly. It's a big responsibility, very big responsibility. And with that, I pray before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us tawfiq to follow in the footsteps of Ahlul Bayt and to give us strength and to give us tawfiq to become truthful and trustworthy, so that the nation, the people out there, when they see us and see our best behavior and they see our trustworthiness, they say, what is so different about it? They will find out that this person is Shia. That's how what we want the world to see, inshallah, and how we introduce Ahlul Bayt to the world outside. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. Yes, please. Be quick. MashaAllah.